this is my game engine, Origo. I've been working on it for like the past 6 months. It's written in C++. It's using OpenGL as its backend, and yeah, I guess I can
Wait,
show off some features.
how did you just real quick? How did you get that effect where you're kind of fading to black at the bottom?
That's just the skybox. So, um, wait, I can show you in the textures, or no, in the editor.
So you've got loading for all of these components too.
Yeah, yeah. So like, I have a top.png. Those are just skyboxes. Like, and I believe, I guess at the bottom, yeah, you have this fading effect.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Is this the ghosty terminal?
Now use Kitty.
Okay, kitty. Yeah.
Yeah. So for the engine, like it's an ECS, meaning that like you can have entities. Like basically, any game object is an entity, and you can attach components to them for behavior. So like for
Okay.
example, this is just an empty entity that has only like a position a component attached to it. But like if I want to alter the behavior so that it can do more, for example, I could add a mesh renderer to it. And then I'd had to drag like the material and the mesh I'm trying to render. So like for the mesh, I could use a sphere, for example. And for the material, I can just use the default ones. And then you can see here that like this is just a basic
Yeah.
sphere in
Wow.
your world. But like you can go even more crazy and like add components that I guess are more complex. For example, the particle system, right? Um, and the particle system only really gets active as soon as you run the game, and like you can configure a lot of parameters in here. Right? So like
That's pretty smooth
yeah,
actually, for how many
yeah,
particles that
I
is.
yeah, it's running at 20 FPS. I guess it can be faster, right? But yeah, like you can change also like the emission shape, for example, or like the speed at what they're going at, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, or you can even make them physically based, or like change the gravity force that is acting upon them, or even make it negative so that they fly up, or like add drag air resistance so that they don't fly that much, or negative air resistance so that they get faster as they encounter air, right? So like the possibilities are really endless in that sense.
Dude, that's crazy. That's so much detail. Um,
Yeah,
you have a text
thank
editor
you.
in there as well.
Yeah, exactly. So basically, you can in my engine you can select assets, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we have different kinds of assets. I guess I can show you in the code.
Mm-hmm.
Here there are different like kinds of asset types, right? And like this abstract asset class. And here you can
Okay.
see like what kind of asset types there are. And like
Yeah.
only some of them are text editable, right? Like you shouldn't be able to edit a material by text, but you should still be able to select it. But it should just display, okay, this isn't a text editable asset. So if you go to the text editor right now, it displays that no asset is selected. If we
Yeah.
go ahead and select a material, it displays that it can't be modified. But if we try to alter a script, like um,
Damn, you
then
even got
it
syntax
displays.
highlighting in there.
Yeah, but to be honest, this isn't. This is just a project that someone else did, so it's a third party. Um,
Yeah.
so
So
it's included. I
no
didn't
no
program
credit for
that.
that one
Yeah,
then.
exactly. Um, so yeah, I have Lua scripting implemented. Like you can see here, like you can attach components right here and define their types and default and stuff like that. If I wanted to add like a new field, for example, I don't know, is alive, right?
Yeah.
Then I'd have to do it like that. and the type would be a bool, logically speaking, and the default would be true, I guess. And now if I press Control S, it is added right here. So yeah, and you can just work with that very easily. Like the
Wow.
thing
Yeah.
is, I still have to add like system scripting so that users can implement their own behaviors, right?
Yeah.
Um, and next to that, like I've programmed my own interpreter that and I wanted to like support native ECS controls structures so that it's like more intuitive and more easy for people to program in
In Lua, you mean?
and know in my own language.
Gotcha. So you're gonna have a DSL for this.
Uh, I've programmed an interpreter for that. Um, I
And
can show you
what's
that if you'd
Yeah,
like
sure. I'd
to.
love to see that. I actually, if you want to talk about a bit of like the architecture behind this too, I would love to see that, like how this
Yeah.
works.
Okay. So, firstly, about the language, I've programmed in like in. There's a book called Crafting Interpreters, and in there they explain how you can like develop an interpreter in Java, and like I've read that book and applied it to C++ because the concepts don't really change.
Yeah.
So like you can I can show you an example. This is like a script in my language.
Okay.
The language is called Noct, and yeah, this is like just basic OOP slop, right? Like you can see it right here. And um, like I've programmed a list in here. So if we if we push all of these numbers in here and then print the list, you should see like some kind of 67, 68, 69, right?
Yeah.
Like I don't even know how I set that up. Um, yeah, right. Like this. It prints that, right? So like
Yeah.
the OOP features work. Now the next thing I want to do is like change the project that it isn't like this basic programming language like any other one, like this basic Python or Lua syntax, but rather domain specific for the engine.
Hmm.
Um, and yeah, I guess what are you particularly interested in terms of design decisions?
Well, I'm
What
not
would you
sure
like to
honestly.
see?
Like my architecture knowledge is largely on the web, and like I kind of
Mhm.
understand state management from that perspective. So I don't know. It'd be
I
interesting to
can
see like how your UI is. Yeah, the UI code works and whatnot.
um yeah, so I can give you an example. So like basically there are okay, let's take a look at how I uh, wait, nice,
You did some
um
shell aliases for the scripts.
yeah. I've changed the setup quite a bit, so like that's why it's not. But like, I guess I can show you how I render these transforms, like these components, like
Yeah.
because I set up a system that makes it very easy for you to like add new renderers. So like, so basically, I've explained to you how you have to register a component if it's native, right? So that like the entire code base has access to it.
Hmm.
Now, if we want to render that, it's done in the inspector component renderer. So
Okay.
you can either draw scripted components and draw native components, and I do that like main split between native and scripted components because they use different underlying managers. So I have a native component manager and a script component manager.
Yeah.
But like when you want to like render, for example, I can show you this, for example, is the code that is responsible for registering the transform component renderer.
Hmm.
So what we do here is like we give it a name, a an image file, so that like this icon is being displayed, right?
Right.
And then this is a lambda, like an anonymous function that gets the component it should display, right? And right here, this component UI is that's kind of bad in my opinion. I will have to make it, I guess, cleaner looking.
Hmm.
But in a sense, like all we do right here is we take in some kind of value, whether it's a float, a vector, or like anything else, and we
Yeah.
draw stuff so that like we can alter it, right? But like this is like the function being passed in. Now, if we take a look at the register native drawer, this is like a templated function so that it works like for multiple types, right? Because we like have different types of components
Right.
and you register them and put them in this entries. Like it's just a unordered map of the type index
Yeah.
and the entry. Um, and the entry like it has like this inspector drawable, and that right there, like this is the lets you draw it. Like at the end of the day, when like we draw the stuff, we draw it right here, like with this draw, and we call the draw function and pass the component in, and it knows what to do with it. Because like initially you've did that, you know? So like and that's basically how any like component is rendered. Like you just register this native draw and give its type, a name, a icon, and like the details of how to render it,
Yeah.
and then the entire backend and it manages that to like forward it, create this I inspector drawable, and then that draw is used when you actually like need to render it in this inspector component renderer.
Right. Yeah. I guess it's pretty obvious based on the rendered product, but yeah, like that's some really clean high level design you've got there.
Thanks.
Yeah.
The I think the thing I'm most proud of in terms of design is my component manager, because like um most people like in the world of ECS, a lot of people just use like a library called entity, spelled like this, like entity as a
Mm-hmm.
double T, and yeah, I guess I didn't want to use that library because like I wanted to add scripting and stuff like that, right? And I thought it would be like a bit too much work like to use
Yeah.
that library.
Yeah.
So like I've created this native component manager, right? And I've never needed to like use so much templating code and stuff like that. It's like very how can I say it? Like I guess I can't find a word for it, but it's like super. It was a pain in the ass to develop it, right?
Yeah.
But I'm definitely what the result of it is like very nice. Like I'm very happy with it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I have to go and meet Simon in a second, but I wanted to ask you before I go, just because you're on kind of an exceptional course in life here. Like, what do you want? Like, what's your goal for the next several years?
Well, I guess
I
the main
guess.
thing I want to be is educated, but like I don't want to. I want to. I like being good at something, you know, and like for me that has been programming. And like in terms of like I guess for life goals I want to be a professor, you know, like that would be cool to have like like research about like your own researching group and have like your people like develop and or discover new things. That's super cool. But like in terms of Origo, what I want for that is like I want people to like see this and be like, oh yeah, that's a cool engine. That's a nice thing to have developed, you know?
I think you've already kind of reached that, but you'll continue to reach that more and more. I'd also love to follow up on the progress of this like a couple months from now.